Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this amazing world. And thank you guys so much for tuning in for another video of DIY investing. Yesterday brought a strong sell-off inside of Bitcoin and has caused a lot of the markets to start correcting. Is this the short-term top moving forward, and should we be expecting to see more downside? Or is this just a minor correction before we're about to have another major impulse up higher? Today I'm going to be diving in and we're going to be talking about XRP. I'm going to be updating you guys with what I'm expecting with that market cycle, and then we're also going to be looking at Bitcoin. Now I want to do a Bitcoin update as well because Bitcoin is really the driver of value, and it's really important that we know what's happening with that market so we know what to do with the altcoins as well. If you're new and just finding this channel, always remember to do me a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing to this channel for more updates. Make sure you guys click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any updates like the one provided for you in this video. Remember guys, I also offer a video course and Signals, so if you guys are actually looking to copy quality content and follow an educational course that can teach you guys all of the same strategies that I use to profit, I highly recommend that you guys check out my Discord server. The course is a mix of all of the different trading strategies that I use to profit inside of cryptocurrency every day. All of the resources that I use along with all of the little things that I've learned over the last 4 years all combined into a 20 educational video series. So I definitely recommend that you guys check that out. I also offer the Signals. The Signals are a way for you guys to actually copy my personal portfolio and actually copy all of the same trades that I'm taking. The Signals are a mix between short-term, mid-term, and long-term trading and investing setups. And so if you guys want to be able to copy my own personal trades and trading plan, you guys are definitely going to want to get access to that. All you have to do is click the invitation link in the description of this video, and there you're going to get access to my Discord server. Once you're on here, just shoot me a message, and I will get back to you guys as soon as possible. All right, we've got a ton of really cool things to talk about. A lot of really important things are happening inside of the market. So let's jump right in this video today. So to start off this video, we're going to first take a look at Bitcoin because Bitcoin, once again, is the driver of value. Now, what we're seeing currently is we are correcting a little bit further. I thought that once we actually retested about 9,600 and got that bounce that we were going to continue up, but we actually rejected pretty hard. And so this was the confirmation that we were looking for as far as what direction does the market want to move. Now, kind of what I'm seeing is really just a short-term correction. What this looks like to me is just a simple 1, a 3, and then a 5 Elliott wave impulse, and we're just correcting back down. Now, generally with these corrections, there's going to be a couple different Fibonacci relations that I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be watching for this 382, which takes us to about 9K, and I'm going to be watching for roughly the 618. Now, my levels are actually going to be a tiny bit different than the actual Fib levels, and so let's go through here and analyze kind of what I'm expecting. Now, what my first target for Bitcoin is actually going to be 9,100. And the reason for that, I think that this is a really strong support level. My reason being, when we were actually in the bearish retrace of this at the start, we formed this descending triangle right here, and 9,100 was actually the base support, and that's where I accumulated my first entries inside of this bearish retrace. And so with 9,100 being an area that we've actually broken out of and we have yet to retest, I would assume that we're most likely going to hold support above this level. Now, it is possible that we could fall a little bit lower, and then if that was the case, then my lowest target would actually be about 8,300, and I think it's likely that we'd actually end up falling to retest that. Now, really, guys, all this looks like to me is just a short-term correction. We just had a pretty massive breakout outside of this falling wedge. And so it's only customary that we're going to experience a correction of some kind. And so even if this is bleeding a little bit, this is not a very bad correction. These are the times where you really want to be buying the dip as much as possible. I'm expecting a short-term correction in the altcoins and Bitcoin. And so it's going to be a really good opportunity to be buying and unloading new cash that you might have inside of this market. And so for me, I'm going to watch this $9,100 area. I think that it's going to actually end up falling if we don't get a significant bounce off of this 9,100 level, and it's more likely that we'd come back down and retest the 4-wave support at about 8,300. And so with Bitcoin, that's what I'm watching. To me, it's just a really early impulse. This impulse that we just saw is really just a 1-wave. And so moving forward, depending on where we bottom, whether we bottom at 9,100, whether we drop a little bit further and bottom at 8,300, not much changes for me. Once again, I've yet to take any short-term profits. I'm holding for the long term, and so all of my altcoins are still at really cheap values in their old cycles, and so for me, I'm not really too worried about trying to lock away a ton of profits right now. I am seeing the long-term trend, and I think that there's still a lot more upside. And so wherever we finish this retrace, I expect that a 3-wave will come next. That 3-wave should take us past the cycle high that we saw here inside of Bitcoin. And we should see something along the lines of this. Just a nice little uptrend forming. And this is actually going to be a little bit longer. Don't quote the time frames of what I'm showing with you guys. I'm just sharing kind of how I expect it to play out. So I'm expecting that this impulse is going to retrace a little bit further. And then once we start that 3-wave impulse, I think that that 3-wave is actually going to be the thing that breaks us out of the previous cycle high at roughly 14K. We should break out of that, retest the cycle high, and then that should set us up for one more impulse upwards of that all-time high structure. And so this is what I'm going to be watching out for with Bitcoin. Looking at this is roughly my trading plan. This is kind of how I expect Bitcoin to start impulsing from here. I don't find it likely that we're going to get a lot of slow sideways action. In fact, it's more likely to me that we're going to start impulsing with the halving being so close away. And so make sure you guys keep Bitcoin on your radar. If you're watching this and you're noticing that your altcoins are starting to sell off, don't get too shaken out. This is just a short-term correction on an overall parabolic trend. And so there's a lot more profit potential to be had just by holding. You don't need to overcomplicate things and try and overtrade. Now let's actually dive into the XRP analysis so we know exactly what's happening with XRP moving forward. All right, guys, taking a look at XRP, we're going to go through here and analyze some basic things. Now, from what I understand with XRP, overall, I think that we're all on the same page with the fractal. I don't need to go into any detail with that. But really all we need to understand is kind of where we're at. Now, what I do like about XRP, now even though this was technically a bearish volume profile, we had inclining volume and declining price. And so technically that's a bearish volume profile. But the new volume that did just come in here, just recently with this leg up, it's actually almost the same size as the cycle high volume. Now, what I do like about this is the fact that there is a lot of green volume that's coming in here. I do like how the green volume is significantly higher than any of the red. And so even though prices are going down, I still strongly believe that this is being accumulated. And I'm not so worried about all of the short-term correcting that we're seeing. Now, if we drop it to a little bit of a shorter time frame, let's go through here and see kind of what I see as far as this cycle goes. What I'm seeing in this cycle is we just had a 1, we had a 3, and then we had a 5-wave impulse. And this took us to my resistance level that I had drawn, and this is kind of what I was watching and updating you guys with. My resistance was about right here. I said that if we could clear above this resistance, then that's going to set us up for higher upside targets of about 46 cents. But what happened was we hit this this resistance and then we immediately sold off from that. And so we still have a little bit more work to do before we can fully cement a bullish bias. But I still believe that we have already started the early signs of an impulse. And so kind of what I'm watching is for the potential of an inverse head and shoulder reversal pattern. And I think that we're about to see something like that. And so what I'm watching for XRP is really just a correction that'll take us back down to about, 23, 24 cents, right around there, before we actually end up confirming the right shoulder of the inverse head and shoulder and then breaking out of this neckline. Now, the neckline technically will be a little higher. It'll be about right here at about 33 cents. And that's just because the resistance went a little bit higher up here. And so we need to break out from that level to really confirm that trend change. But the way it's looking really nice. I like the volume that's came in here. This mass sell volume that we saw right here and this final sell-off, that's really customary, what you'll see at the bottom of a trend. In this case, we had this long bearish trend. And we can see that roughly the exact bottom, we had one more low from that point. But right here is where we saw a lot of sell volume. In fact, that sell volume was significantly bigger than any of the previous sell volume, not counting the cycle high, which is obviously going to see more of it because there's more profit taking. But with this coming at the terminal end of a bearish correction, this leads me to believe that we've actually finished this bearish trend. Not only that, but I've been updating you guys with the cycles. The New Year's are the points of reversals, and the New Year was right here. And so I've already been expecting this new bull run. I've been telling you guys that I've already thought that it has started. And so for me, this is all just a buying opportunity. Now, I know that that's going to be the case whether we sell off and go for a lower low, but I personally don't think that we're going for a lower low. I think that the bottom was in at the New Year, and really we're starting to see the first small impulses heading into that next cycle. And so if we can see this inverse head and shoulder play out, that's going to be an early reversal pattern. Once we can break about 33 cents, that's going to confirm that reversal pattern from my technical analysis. And then I do believe that that's going to set us up for at least 50 cents. Now, if this inverse head and shoulder was to actually play out, we got to go through here and see exactly what targets that would put me at. And so really the way that you find targets for an inverse head and shoulder or a head and shoulder in general is you draw from the neckline to the head and then you take that and you copy it, and then you pull it up to the neckline again, and that's going to give you your target. So our target's going to be about 50 cents based off of this head and shoulder, which will take us to roughly the cycle high of about right here. And so that's what I'm going to be watching out for the potential of this pattern. Overall, this is a really big inverse head and shoulder, and so if this actually does play out, expect the market to impulse really quickly, and expect that this bear market is actually over. And so to see an early reversal pattern starting to play out, it's a really good sign thus far, and I think that this is really the early signs that we're starting to see that the new trend has actually started already. And so watching XRP here, overall, not much has changed from my last updates. I wanted to keep us all in the same knowing and understanding. Now, a little bit of a bearish perspective, if we fail to clear and actually break out of this $3,300 area, or if we actually fell support at about 23, 24 cents right here in the bottom of this right shoulder, then that's actually going to make me think that we're headed for one more low. And I think that that low has the opportunity to take us even down to 12 cents, just because of how big of the bounce we got. I think that it would make sense that we'd have a pretty strong sell-off if we were to go for a new low. I don't think that that's going to necessarily happen. I think that the bottom is mostly in, besides a little bit of a short-term correction. And so if you're watching this, I think that if you haven't bought any XRP, this is probably going to be one of the final dips to do so. I'm going to buy a little bit more here. I've accumulated a significant majority of XRP, and I did so at 20 cents. And so I'm entered at such a cheap point that I really am not worried about any of what's happening right now. Short-term sell-offs, short-term impulses. It's all just noise until we break all-time high, because, I mean, you wouldn't have wanted to sell at any point in the previous cycle. You would have wanted to hold until this happened. And so why is this cycle any different? If you're here for the long term, what makes you so ready to just take all these short-term profits? I mean, overall, you would have made way more money just holding the long-term trend. I mean, look how quick, once we started impulsing, we broke out of the all-time high in like a couple weeks. And so if you're watching this and you held throughout the majority of a bear market, you bought the cycle high in 2018 or 2017, whatever it might be, just understand that this is a long-term game. No matter how high you bought, just hold the majority of the trend, because this one's about to get very parabolic. We've got good inclining volume, even though the price has been declining. If we can break out of 33 cents, then that doesn't matter, and it's a confirmed trend reversal, and we're going to start to see a lot more impulsing. And so this is what I'm going to be watching out for. I wanted to keep us all updated inside of XRP. Wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page. We took a look at Bitcoin as well. Overall, I'm expecting this to kind of play out inside of this market. I think that the bottom was in. At the new year, I think that we still have a lot more profit potential still to come, and so all of this short-term correcting is a great buying opportunity, and it should be used as a buying opportunity. Don't get shaken out. Don't try and sell any of your positions. If you're over-leveraged, then obviously you don't want to be doing that when the market's correcting. Maybe minimize some of your risk, take some of your position sizing off the table. But this is really all I had for you. I wanted to quickly touch up on some things so that we're all in the knowing of what's to come. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much for the support. It really does mean a lot to me. If you found any value in this, always remember to leave me a like, comment, and subscribe to this channel for more updates. Click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new updates like the one provided for you in this video. And remember, guys, I also offer a video course and signals. To get access, all you have to do is click the invitation link in the description of this video, and there you're going to get access to my Discord server. All you have to do is just message me on there, and I will get back to you guys as soon as possible. Ask me any questions you want. You can get a hold of me on all of my social media handles, so just feel free to reach out on all fronts. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I will see you next time. As always, peace out.